MacVoices 2024 Holiday Gift Guide, number 5, Part 2. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by 1Password Extended Access Management. It is security for the way we work today. Find out more at onepassword.com/MacVoices. So now we are into round 3. And now you start to have to look at your list and think, is there anything I want to make sure doesn't get stolen out from under me, like Jim had his first pick stolen? Or
Sorry.
What do you want to highlight? No, there are no apologies here. Brian, take us out.
All right. So for my next pick, I know watching the gift guide, previous editions of it, I've seen some really nice watch straps that you can get for your Apple Watch, and they are amazing. Going into the Apple Store and checking them out, trying them on, it's fun to do. But what's not fun to do is pay for them because they are quite expensive. So I don't spend a lot on Apple straps, but I did find for about $25, it was an 8-pack of different Apple Watch straps. And I've recently updated my Apple Watch. I went from a smaller size 6 to an Ultra 2. And so I had to replace my straps. Those straps that fit on the old watch didn't work any longer, obviously, because of different size. So I looked for an affordable way to get some additional straps. And so I found it's an 8-pack of compatible. It fits the 49 millimeter, 46, 45, and 44s. So it's as long as you have the larger size or either of the 2 ultras, it works. And just to kind of show, oops, if I can balance it here on the camera. So, they just come in a couple different varieties. And this bag did not come with it. That's something separate. But yeah, so
it's
a
your
lot
way
of
to show off all your Apple Watch accessories. Check out my bag.
You are burying the lead here, Brian. You have a bag for your watch straps.
You know what? I found that and I was like, this is not too bad. And I'll find the link for that one too. That was like $4 or something. That was cheap, but it's convenient. And I don't think I'm ever going to fill that thing. That thing I think holds I want to say 32 or something. And I'm not a person who on my old watches, I had a smaller 3 and a smaller 6, and I probably own maybe 5 watch straps altogether in the duration of time between those watches. That included the 2 that originally came with each of them. Yeah, so I don't see myself filling that bag, but I don't know, maybe stranger things will happen. But it's nice to be able to get, I know that the quality isn't quite the same as the Apple branded ones. You can definitely tell a difference, but if you want somewhat of a similarity for a very reasonable price, I definitely recommend it.
Okay. What can you say? I mean, there's so many out there. I love, though, sort of what we were talking about earlier. If you have a set of watch bands that you can endorse as you like them, you use them, it's a lot better than just going and saying Apple Watch band and then trying to figure out, from which province in China they come from. So, yeah, please.
That's a great point.
Yeah, but I'm with Jim. Make sure you give us a link to the bag because that's cool.
I think I'll buy one of those because who knows where my watch bands are, probably with Brittany's screen protector.
I'm sure they're in the same vortex.
I wore some bands from Tefika for a long time, which I liked, and they were stretchy, but you had to measure your wrist. And now, the last few months, I've been wearing, if you could see this. This is a third party. I got it off Amazon. I think it was $12. But the neat thing is, check this out. It's magnetic.
Oh, I like that.
And you can, where's the camera? There it is. You can do it. So the nice thing is you can do it anywhere you want, and it's so easy. And what I do is at night I put it on my right arm, and the daytime I put it on my left arm. And you can put it at different spots on your arm really easily. So I don't even know the name of it. It was just like $12 on Amazon. I think you just search for magnetic.
Yeah, Jim, but here again, because I know I use a wire mesh Melanaise loop, but I really like the look of that. So if you can look in your history and give us a link to that particular one that you've had good luck with.
Yeah, I bought it off Amazon, so I can find it.
Yeah, please. That's very
unless
cool.
unless it's no longer available.
Well, yeah.
And that style too, with all the different magnets in it, it helps with ensuring that it's a nice, like you have several points of contact. So if your arm snags on something, it only maybe pulls one link. It's valuable just from not losing your watch, having it fall off.
Jim, are you finding though with that watch band that you have the little issue that I do, that you keep stealing silverware from restaurants because the magnet picks up the silverware and I walk out with it? No? Okay.
I had that in my last watch band.
Are you serious?
Yes, very serious.
And then you're also saying like you don't notice?
There have been times I didn't notice.
I did notice, but
yeah. I mean, I've stolen all kinds of things. I've stolen knives, forks, pens, completely inadvertently, but so. All right. Well, that was
true. This theft ring.
Yeah, that was true confessions on my part. I probably will cut that out. Britt, get me out of this.
I don't know, Chuck, because I'm sort of enjoying it.
Thanks.
So I recently got back from the International Conference on ADHD, and I was talking with one of my friends, and he said, "This got me through my PhD. It is called Crazy Aaron's Thinking Putty." And I'll have a link. The link that I picked is the rose gold one for just Apple nerd reasons. Not necessarily an endorsement of that specific one. There's all kinds of different ones, but you mold it as like a fidget. So it's a fidget you can have while you're talking to people, while you're thinking about stuff. And he absolutely swore by it for getting through his dissertation. So Crazy Aaron's Thinking Putty.
Is anybody else here like a fidget spinner kind of person, or any of those little desktop toys?
I'm not, but I know a lot of people who are, like, between that and drawing, and you think, I used to come in originally with the assumption that during a meeting, if I saw somebody doodling or fidgeting, is that they weren't paying attention. But sometimes it's literally the opposite. They are quite in tune with what's going on. Yeah.
It's a very, very that was why we were discussing it, is because they had that as a booth at the International Conference on ADHD.
They had the putty as a booth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because fidgets are a big, big thing in the ADHD world.
Well, the reason I like the idea, I'm not a fidget spinner guy, but I'm with Brian. I know a lot of people that are, but I love this one because this means it's going to be completely quiet. There's no clicking. There's no nothing. It's putty. So putty doesn't make much of a sound. So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Okay. Good. You always bring something, Britt, let's see. You've done two now that I didn't even know existed. So good job.
Thanks.
Jim, third round pick.
All right. I've got one for opening all your other picks. So since I don't have a green screen, maybe you can see this. It is a Canary box cutter, retractable, heavy-duty, safety corrugated cardboard. Here's a picture of it in action. And I think I actually learned about this from John Gruber. I think he mentioned it. And the interesting thing about that is it's not a blade. You can stick your finger and run it across it, and nothing happens. But when you put it on cardboard, it goes right through it. It's amazing for opening boxes. it's much better than an actual knife. I don't know why. So again, it's one of those things that you'd probably never think about, but John mentioned it as if everybody knew about it, and this was the greatest thing. And it's $14, so it's a little more than what you might pay for a utility knife. But I keep it right by the door, and get so many packages these days. It's great, and I don't worry about slicing my fingers anymore.
That's the part that's really interesting, Jim, because I'm sure you've done it. You only do it once, but if you use like a regular box cutter or a pair of scissors or something, and you dig too deep and the item hasn't been properly packaged or padded, you can end up slicing the product. And that's
that too.
Not good.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm really intrigued by how this opens it.
It doesn't work on like plastic.
Right.
It doesn't work on that. The horrible stuff that you can't, I don't have a solution. And the odd thing too is that on cardboard, it actually is much easier. It takes less force than like trying to use scissors or a knife. It's mystical.
Okay.
It says It's got a non-stick.
Did you expect to have a mystical pick, Chuck?
What? No, I did not. And definitely not from Jim. Maybe from the guy with the hat, but not from Jim.
But there's two people with hats here.
Well, that's true, but he looks more like a wizard's hat or something. You're just, never mind. I get myself in trouble.
I have X-wing helmets. Does that count?
Yeah, that's a form of a hat.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
That's a super useful pick this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
If I order it tonight, I wonder if it'll get here in time for Christmas.
If it's from Amazon, it probably would.
Free delivery Friday, December 6th.
All right.
There you
Score.
go.
Order within 6 hours and 37 minutes.
I have to tell you, Jim, when you first held up the picture, I thought for a second it was like a fish scaler or something, because that's what it looked like. So,
it is a cutting implement.
Yeah. All right. Well, my third round pick is for the potential cord cutter out there. For probably the past year or so, I've been using with a great deal of success a Tableau. This is basically it's a DVR and tuner that lets you pick up over-the-air signals. And then it has a hard drive inside. You can attach a secondary hard drive to it, and it will record the shows for you and let you play them back through an app that's on your smart TV or on your phone or on your iPad. There's an app for it for Fire TV from Amazon. I think they have apps for everything that I know of except Apple TV. It's still in beta. It is there. It's just in beta. That's
Live
the only
TV, Chuck. Wow.
Well,
when did they start putting broadcasting video over the air? That sounds really interesting.
I think it was 1952, Jim. But here's the thing: if you live in a reasonably metropolitan area, you're going to have no problem. Just stick any old one of the digital antennas up on your wall inside, and you'll be fine. Where I am, I have one particular station that I prefer for local news, and it's a little bit farther away and a little bit problematic to get. And so it seemed like I could never quite get it right to be stable. So I ended up, this is a little bit nuts, but I got a digital antenna, one of the flat ones, and I bought a hat rack and mounted it on the hat rack. Okay? I know, Brittany, I know, yeah. But what it does, it allows me to just take the hat rack and just rotate it in real little increments until I get the perfect signal locked in. And since I did that, I have had no trouble connecting to the tower. It's perfect. So that's sort of a little side hack. But if you're in a metropolitan area, you're going to have no trouble. You'll be able to pick up all your channels because even with this, I get a number of secondary channels that I don't really care that much about. And it also comes with some, as part of the package, some pay for channel, not pay for, but internet channels that are very specialized, and some of them are okay and some of them not. It's sort of like the extra channels you get with any cable TV package, but it has really let me cut the cord completely because I just don't have a need for it. And so, yes, Brittany, I can record football games and do all that. The one other thing, though, that I need to make sure you understand. I just
assumed golf. I didn't think you were recording football, so I guess that was something new.
Well, that golf has been known to be recorded too, yes. But the one other downside to it, and it's probably because they're supported by a number of the broadcast industry higher ups. You cannot take the recordings off of the device. So you are limited as to where you can watch them and when you can watch them. You have to be at home, connected to your home network, wirelessly or otherwise. But that's the only downside. But if you can live with that, one of the beauties, though, of this is that I don't have to have this device sitting right beside my router. It will connect to my router wirelessly. So any of the internet work it needs to do, it's doing completely that. So it's like upstairs in a room upstairs, and my main router's here. So the only thing I have plugged in upstairs is just the power cord to the device itself. So there are a number of things like this out there. The home run box, I believe, I think I've got that right, is one. But in the Tableau, I admit I did have a little bit of trouble because of the tuning until I bought the head rack, and then it's perfect. So if you're in the market for something like this, give the Tableau a try. It's the interface. I'll give it a B+. It's not perfect, but it's not horrible either. You just have to get used to it. And with the fact that you can plug in an external hard drive to it means that you can record a lot of things if you have a lot of things you want to record. So
I'm going to look into that. I don't get a good signal where I'm at, so that may work for me.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds crazy, but just I duct tape the digital antenna to the hat rack, and then I can aim it a lot more precisely than trying to put it up on a wall, and it works.
Yes.
I'm glad I could entertain you, Brittany.
I'm going to stick with my YouTube Premium subscription.
That's another option. That's another option. It just depends on how much TV you watch and what you watch.
Not YouTube TV.
Yeah. Just yeah. YouTube. Oh, excuse me. I misunderstood.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we're right back to it. Depends on what you watch. Today's edition of Mac Voices is supported by 1Password Extended Access Management. It is security for the way we work today. Find out all about it at onepassword.com/MacVoices. It's that time of year and Santa is compiling his lists. You are on the nice list, right? No question about that. But how about all of your users? The ones who don't use company-approved devices, the ones who are using unmanaged apps, the ones who are using non-employee identities and accessing your network and your company's information, even though they may not be employees. They are all at the top of the naughty list in big red bold letters. Good news. 1Password Extended Access Management can help you get them over to the nice list. With 1Password Extended Access Management, you are solving the problems that traditional MDM and IAM aren't solving and can't solve. Every device is known, every credential secure and verified, and all those apps are visible. That not only makes your life easier, but will also help your users not get coal in their stockings this year. Even those users of Okta and Microsoft Entra, they will all thank you. Give yourself, your users, and your company the gift of 1Password Extended Access Management by learning more at onepassword.com/MacVoices. Again, that's the number 1password.com/MacVoices. 1password.com/MacVoices. Thanks to 1Password Extended Access Management for supporting MacVoices. All right, we're into fourth round. So now if you have more than one on your list, let's have your last best one. Brian, you're going to have a hard time topping that last watch pick.
All right. Well, I think I found one that's pretty useful and at a pretty decent price, coming in at about $25. It's the Anker 332 USB-C hub, and super useful. Just one of those 5-in-1 devices that you can get extra ports and get what you need. In particular, what was extremely helpful is I presented at a conference a couple months ago, and when I brought my MacBook Air in, it has the USB-C port, and I had to connect it to a projector that was a HDMI. And just having this device was extremely useful to be able to present. I mean, without it, I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So, something like this is small, compact. You can pack it with you. You can also, if you have a desktop computer or a laptop that you're using even at home, it's something that just creates extra ports for you, so you can plug things in and out of. So there's so many different configurations of them. So you can, I'll provide the link, of course, for the one that I selected, but depending on what your needs are, you can get ones with more ports of different varieties. So extremely helpful.
I love,
no joke, that one of those Anker hubs was on my list of babies. So
Brian's a little thief tonight. He's blocking everything. Brian, I love this because, if you remember when the big thing was, oh my God, they're taking all the ports away, and that's such a tragedy, and how are we ever going to live with this? I like, even though it's a dongle and a separate piece that I have to carry, I like it so much better because, to your point, I can buy the one that has what I need. If I need it with an Ethernet port, I can get one with the Ethernet port. If I need one with HDMI, I can get it with HDMI. I mean, God help us, if you need one with VGA, you can still get those. So, it's a great way to do it. What's that, Brittany?
It's my Anker hub.
It's your Anker, okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's got my Ethernet at the back, and
Ethernet at the back.
My USB-A ports on the other side, and I don't need the HDMI, but I did briefly. So
yeah, no, nicely done. Nicely done.
Thank you.
I gather, though, Brittany, that Anker is not your pick.
No, it can't be because Brian just did one.
My bad.
All right. This has been hard for me to pick which one I would do last. But I'll continue on my mental health kick. So if you live somewhere with winter where maybe you don't see the sun that much, you probably see more sun than we do in the Pacific Northwest. But if you find yourself missing the sun, if you find yourself with any seasonal affective issues, I highly recommend a sun lamp, and not the way they talk about using a sun lamp or a full spectrum lamp, but it's just like, the sun is not out today, so the light is on in all of the rooms I'm in all day long. And I find that my thinking is clearer, and because I do have some seasonal affective disorder, but I feel more awake when I have access to full spectrum light. And so there's a brand I've been using. It was literally just the one I found on Wirecutter one year, and I own 5 of them, I think, across different houses. And they just sit there and they're on all day on the days that really suck here in the Pacific Northwest. So that's my pick, is just a little thing of having an extra light on can sometimes make a huge difference.
I know so many people.
The brand, by the way, is Daylight. It's not a fun name at all. It's just Daylight.
Tells you what it is.
Yeah. I know so many people though that seem to have some level of what is it? Do it again, Brittany. Seasonal
affective disorder.
Yes.
It stands for, like, the acronym is SAD.
Of course. Yeah, and you're right. The lights do seem to make it a big difference for them, and I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
But obviously they're working for you if you have that many and have them in every room of the house.
Yeah. But every room I'm in a bunch. Like, they're not my bedroom because I'm not in there all day long, But the living room, my office, there's one right here. Rooms I'm in other houses. Sometimes I'll also just keep one there. So
nice.
So that's my other recommendation.
Yeah. I like that at least a couple of your picks have been professionally oriented. Well done.
Can't help it, right?
No, we all pick things that are important to us.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Rea, what's important to you for your fourth round pick?
Well, that's perfect lead-in. What's important, because this is really not my pick, but I wish it could be, because everyone should get one of these. It was definitely my best thing I bought this year.
Beautiful car.
Can I show my fake pick too?
What?
This is not a fake picture.
The cup to
this is my car.
Drink the blood of my enemies in.
Yeah.
That's my car. This is not a fake picture.
Uh-huh.
I get to drive in it every day.
It's a fake pick, as in it's not really your pick for the gift
pick.
guide.
All right. Yeah, it is a fake.
Not a fake picture.
Pick. It's but seriously, it's great. Genesis GV60. Go get one. Let's see. I started off with a light, so I'll stick with the light scheme. This is I just got this, and it's a little. This doesn't work. It works better than if I was on Zoom with a green screen, but it's a little battery USB plug-in light that goes around your neck, and it's pretty awesome. It's really comfortable. You don't even know you have it, and it's you can walk around at night or in the house at night or even out on the street and see perfectly. Again, I got it at the same time I got the sound bar. I've only had it like 3 days, but and that's one thing that it actually sat in my cart, saved for later for like 8 months, and I was like, so get it. And I wish I'd gotten it a long time ago, because it's really handy.
So, Jim,
Chuck, you look just completely like that's even stranger than the car.
No, but I'm intrigued. I mean, so is this something that you would use, like you say, if you were going outside at night, or do you use it at home? You were talking earlier about needing some extra light. Is it something you would wrap around your neck to read a book at home with?
That actually is, I think, what it's for. I think it's marketed as read in wear it in bed and use it for a book. But I haven't done that, and I probably won't use it for that very much. But I've found I go for a walk every day. This time of year, a lot of times, like for example, I haven't managed to do it yet today, so I'm going to need to do it after we hang up and it's dark out. And I usually do it in the dark, but now the last few days, it's like, oh, this is great. I can see where I'm going. Or I can get up in the middle of the night and, use this and not wake up Lynn and not have this really bright light that totally wakes you up and yet, not fall over things. So, it's just a little thing. It was like $22 or something. But it's actually, better than, when I got it, I was like, oh, this is nicer than I thought it would be.
That's really neat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, and I guess the reason I'm really intrigued, I mean, we've all seen them, the little headbands with lights that you can
Right.
use if you're working like on plumbing or something. But I like this because by the looks of it, especially what you're talking about going out tonight and walking, that you're going to be able to aim it down low to see where you're going.
Yes, I think it's better than a headband because it's it's underneath, so it's not like the headband kind of I've used a headband and I didn't really like it that much.
It,
You should be able to find it. Where is it?
and I know what you mean with those headlamps. That's what I've been using when I go outside at night to walk the dog. And inevitably, it has a little, it shifts a little bit so you can angle it. But inevitably, that piece becomes loose and it just falls. And so it's like always in a down position. And so something like that would be fantastic. As long as it's bright enough.
Whoops.
And you said,
it has 3 settings.
Yeah.
And it's and this flexes. See?
Oh yeah.
It's flexible. Or you could even
would
point
annoy
it.
me less.
You could point it up if or which would.
That would annoy me less than the headband.
Yeah, definitely. It's really comfortable. It's very light, and the fact that it's flexible. Why does it look weird in that? I think for somebody else looking at me when it's on, it probably looks really strange to have these. I've looked in the mirror and it's kind of weird looking, but when I'm wearing it, I don't see that.
Yeah. Hey, if it works.
I was going to ask how long the battery life was.
I don't know yet, but I have a feeling it's probably really long. Because I've had other USB charged lights that, like I've got one I put it in the garage by my car charger because it's kind of dark in that corner. So, I use it when I plug the car in so I can see the port. And I've had it for like 7 months and I haven't had to recharge it yet. Now I don't, I usually just turn it on for a very short time, enough to plug in the car. Right. But, so, I wouldn't be surprised if it lasted a month of normal use, and I'll probably plug it in a lot more often than that.
Very nice.
LEDs are, the whole flashlight thing. I mean, when we were, especially Chuck, you and I, flashlights were these, really dim, huge, things that you could knock people out with, and yet you still couldn't see more than 2 feet away, right?
Yeah.
And actually, this one, it's got 2 lights, and you can turn them on separately at 3 levels. And most of the time, I just I can just turn on one at the low level, and that's plenty.
Yeah, nice pick. Britt, I know you have to go. So I'm going to say thank you so much for taking the time to be here because I know the schedule's crazy with family duties and all. What's the best place for folks to find you?
Generally, it's my website, conquer.consulting. I'm ADD Liberator, lots of other places. But I also am doing an InSync live course for the first time in January. And that is at unstuckyourtask.com.
Very nice.
Thanks.
And if you don't follow Brittany on LinkedIn, I don't know where else you're posting them, Britt, but she always has these little videos that pop up and just delight me, little tips about concentration. Thanks. And also, find her on LinkedIn. Where else do those go, Britt?
TikTok, Instagram under the ADHD Guild, YouTube on YouTube Shorts if they're short enough. And occasionally on my Facebook page for my business also. So a few little places like that.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you. Come back to MacVoices Live whenever you can.
I will. Thanks.
All right.
I just want to throw in, we miss you on Tuesday.
Oh, I miss you guys so much. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Happy holidays.
We need
Take
some.
care.
We have a gender shortage on that show lately.
Yeah.
We have a sanity shortage, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Well, probably
Can't help you with that
related.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell Kelly to come back too.
Yeah.
Okay. Will do.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. So I let Britt go because I definitely want to do my last pick. This is practical. In fact, I had one here and then I took it and put it in long-term storage. But I use bare hard drives for a lot of longer-term backups. And the thing about bare hard drives is they're bare. They don't really have a good way to protect them. So I'm going to suggest that if you engage in that practice as well, I believe I'll pronounce the company correctly, Orico. You can get a 5-pack of plastic hard drive protective boxes or cases. They're a little bit bigger than the hard drive, obviously, of a 3.5 drive, and they're very durable. They're plastic. You can get them in gray or multicolors, and of course, you can label them, which is really great because then you know what's on that drive as opposed to trying to outguess it. I have a number of these in my safe deposit box at the bank for some of my more precious data that I want to make sure has an offsite backup. But it's a relatively small investment on a per box basis. And it's just a great way because then I'm not going to tell you they're waterproof, dustproof, and all that, but they're pretty darn close to it. And so unless you're going to sub-Saharan Africa in the desert, this is going to take care of them a lot better than just the bubble wrap they came in, or something like that, or one of the plastic bags that the drives come in. They also come with a little rack inside that if you, instead of 3.5s, if you are using 2.5s, they will store 4 of the 2.5s as opposed to one 3.5. So it doesn't matter what you're using. There's a solution for it. But it's an investment in your data and keeping your data safe and protected. And if you do take them off site, it's also nice not to be carrying around just a bare drive because then people look at you a little strange, like, what are you doing? But with that, it's just, another plastic box of something. So I would, I always encourage backups, and anything that can make those backups even physically more secure, I'm all for.
Yeah, you never know
I thought
what'll
you were
happen.
going to recommend those docks that you plug the drive into.
Well, that's what I do. You're right.
Yeah,
and that can be another. I think somebody already did on one of the earlier gift guides. I'll have to double check. But yeah, the ones from OWC are the ones I prefer. And the great thing about any of these is you don't have to buy the biggest and baddest with multiple connections and all, because this is backup. And so it's not like you're going to be reading and writing to the drive all the time. You can set something to back up and then go to sleep and let it back up overnight. And then you've got a whole copy of all your data on your hard drive ready to go. And whether you're securing it in the attic, in the basement, in a locked cabinet in your home, or if you take it to the bank as an offsite option. So it's just something that you better be doing, because we all are gathering up more and more data. And then you see some of the things that happen on the morning news: floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, snowstorms. There was something on the news this morning in, I think it was Western New York, houses collapsing or roofs caving in because of the weight of the snow. And so that can't end well for something that was under it. So protect yourself.
you must have as much data to back up as all the rest of us put together.
Well, with trying to archive the shows, Jim, yeah, it stacks up reasonably quickly. Yeah. But with the advent of better cameras and bigger file sizes, this is not an inconsequential problem. I mean, if you're a family person and you have maybe a young family,
no, but yours has got to be just humongous.
Well, yeah, it's out there. It's out there. But here again, you have kids, and now you're taking 4K movies of them as they grow up, as opposed to, the little snapshots that went into a Polaroid. So,
or even the spatial things. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we have spatial. You're right, Brian.
Spatial, yeah.
So, yeah, we all are gathering up more and more data, and you got to have a strategy to protect it. So, gentlemen, thank you. I'm sorry Britt wasn't here to let me thank her as well, but I know she had to go. But thank you for taking the time. Some really interesting picks here. I'm afraid that you all have spent some of my money because a couple things here I definitely want to check out.
Likewise, yeah.
The car, right?
The car, yeah. Jim gets
at least a picture of it.
The prize this year for the most expensive pick.
And I do want to throw in, I think I picked it last year, but I got to throw in my all-time, pick of all time, which is twinkly lights.
Yes, right there with you. Right there with you. No question about it. If you don't have your holiday lights, I'll make sure there's a link in the show notes to the twinkly lights, but they are phenomenal. So let's get out of here. Let's people go do the shopping for the things we suggested. Brian, where can folks connect with you?
Sure. Best place is probably on Mastodon. Brian8944 at mastodon.cloud.
Excellent. Thank you. Happy holidays.
You too.
Jim Rea, thank you for being here. As always, where can folks find you?
Mastodon's also probably the best place. ProView Jim, ProVue JAM, funny spelling, at techhub.social.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much.
I've been pretty busy on Mastodon lately. We've been getting some good engagement, and I'm almost up to the number of followers I had on Twitter when I got off of Twitter, except I think all of them on Mastodon are real.
Okay, so that's a challenge. Everybody go out there and follow Jim and get him over his Twitter limit. Okay, that fell flat. This is MacVoices.
The funny part is after I dropped off of Twitter, I never deleted my account or anything. I just stopped, no activity. But I still got, I've gotten a couple hundred more followers since that happened. We're up to 650.
Wow. Oh, that's
what?
Yeah. Well, the ways of social media are strange.
Yeah.
This is the MacVoices Holiday Gift Guide. Once again, you can find links in the show notes for this show of everything we picked. You can find them also in the master list on the MacVoices website in the blog section, and in our MacVoices 2024 Holiday Gift Guide on Flipboard, in the Flipboard app on the web, or accessible through RSS. We'll be back with more. As always, thanks for watching and happy holidays. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.